this is my feedback video about your data entries you have already done. I'm going to do one video for all of you because I could find out who did each single data entry, but I think it's best that I show to all of you the small things you need to correct. Data entries were very good overall, but there are a few things we need to take a look at. So the first data entry I found is this one about this article in the City Press. Designer accuses EIC of replicating his ballot paper designs. This is something about the ballot paper, so it's interesting information for us. There is one first thing about this data entry. The City Press is a newspaper, so the researcher who has created this data entry has correctly created a new dossier in the daily newspaper section for this newspaper and used it as a source. However, there is one thing that's missing here, and that's the in the first map, the researcher should have put the area where the newspaper is spread. So I don't know if City Press is a newspaper from Pretoria, maybe Pretoria and Johannesburg, etc. But the researcher should go into this map and point out the area. So if it's the entire country, it's just South Africa, like this, making a search for South Africa, and then you should get among the different solutions here the South African entry, which places a pin. It doesn't matter where the pin is placed, but the system knows that's the entire country of South Africa. If it was Pretoria, same thing. If you actually have to indicate two cities, it's a bit more complex, but you don't really need to do it. Just choose one. If it's spread into different cities, just choose Pretoria. Here it is. And one. So the researcher should take care of this aspect, please. Then there's another thing about this, which is I already told you, and I want to stress this: we do not want links on EleQta because this link is going to work for a few days, but is likely to disappear maybe in a year or so. We don't know. So the thing that should have been done here, this is from a website, so I rather suggest to take a screenshot of this article. It doesn't matter if the whole text is there, but and a screenshot, but still take a screenshot and upload it as a file. I do not understand why this phrase has been entered in the file name. There might be a file that the researcher has already created, but this file should be uploaded rather than indicated here in the file name field. This field is really only if you have trouble uploading the data. So, well, this might be the case. So if this is the case, then please do the upload. But technically speaking, this shouldn't be done like this unless there's really a problem with the connection and there are reasons for which you are unable to upload the file. So this data entry still needs the file to be uploaded. I remind you that you're not compelled to upload files for every data entry, but if it's an article, something that appeared on the press, on a website, you're strongly encouraged to take a screenshot or take a picture of the newspaper and upload it to the system. This field has been used improperly because this is a link, and when I explained you how to use this field reference to the associated file, I told you that it should be used only if the amount of data you upload is very significant, like if it's a very long document or a very long video, and you want to help the researcher by pointing out in which part of the document or video the relevant information is. So this field should be filled in with maybe a page number or a duration, minutes and seconds for the video, but nothing else. Alright, and then there's also very well some analysis which has been performed by the researcher, so thank you for this. I'm not doing changes to the data entries. I will let you do it as part of your exercise, so please take a look at this. After you've seen this, watch this video, please go back to your data entries and edit them accordingly. So the next data entry is this one, and it's an article. I forgot to tell you something. This data entry, there's something weird about this, which is I don't know why the researcher has said that this article is from the press daily newspaper, so it should be printed on paper, and then there is a link here. I guess that maybe this link, let me just check, points to the article itself. So City Press is not a newspaper, apparently. It rather is a website. So I don't know if it is both, then which might be the case, you should distinguish between where you found the article, because very often newspapers do not publish the same articles on their printed copies and on the websites. So if this was taken from, I guess it was taken from the internet because I can see it here, there might be an issue with copying and pasting the whole text, which is another thing that I forgot to tell you that should have been done here in the text box. If you're unable to access the text of an article, I would say that it might not be very interesting to actually upload it to the website, EleQta in general, because a researcher will only read the headlines, which is not entirely a bad thing, but you might concentrate your attention on newspapers and media where you have access to the entire text of the article. So if you do copy it and paste it in the text box entirely, if it comes from a website, it's a pretty easy operation that you should do. If it's on a printed magazine or newspaper, then forget about the copying and pasting of the text, obviously. But please take screenshots or pictures rather, of the article and upload them to along with the data entry. So this data entry also might need the source to be reviewed, simply by deciding whether this City Press here should be classified in the news website subtype rather than in the newspaper subtype, because it doesn't seem to me to be a newspaper but rather a website. So but this data entry needs a little bit of reviewing. Next one is this one. Article and video of African National Congress President Ramaphosa taking on the role as DJ to get votes for his party, the trans lifestyle in Kaliecha. So this is the participation of Ramaphosa to the festival, etc., etc. So this information comes from The Citizen, which is again classified as a newspaper, so something printed. But then I see a link here, and I see that the first map is empty, so I think there might be a mistake in how these two dossiers have been created, both of them, the one we just saw and this one, and they should rather be classified among the news website dossiers. So this is just a matter of going to the dossier section, finding the dossier for The Citizen and the dossier for the City Press, and changing the subtype from newspaper to news website. Sorry, there's a bit of background noise. I'm on a train. I hope this is going to be clear for you. Then again, I think these two data entries were made by the same person who kind of replicated the same, I won't call them mistakes, but little perfections. So I don't know why there's this in the file name. Maybe the researcher has saved this file to one of his devices and has stored it with this name, but this is not very beneficial to us. The file should be uploaded. The dossiers involved fields are correctly filled in. I might also say that this article mentions an event, which is the Rand lifestyle, and which occurred at a specific date and particularly a specific place. So this place should be indicated in the second map. So I'm going to check if there's any reference to it in the maps database. Should be. Let's see what happens if I search it. There it is. So as you can see, it's pretty easy to say that this data entry um, contains information about a place, which is EleQta. Sorry for my pronunciation, which might be wrong, but this should be entered in the second map, possibly also with the date where this occurred. So, which is probably the same where the information was published, not necessarily. So, as I said, this data entry contains reference to an event, which is Simir Ramaphosa playing as a DJ at this festival. So this event occurred at a specific place and time, which we know, at least the place for sure. And these should be entered in the second map. This is what the second map is for. So please take a look, close look also at how you use the second map. Okay. So let's go to the next data entry. So we have again an article that comes from Voice of America, which was classified as a news website. So this time the dossier was correctly created. The problem is that we have a link here which is no good for us. So this should be replaced with a screenshot of the article. And then there's a long phrase here which I don't understand why has been inserted in this field here, which is the reference to associated file here, which I explained earlier how it should be used. So if this information concerns the data entry and is relevant, it should rather go in the text box or in the analysis by the researchers box, where you can add your own views and analysis of the information. This box is already filled in, so maybe it's not necessary. This probably should go in the text field, but I'll let you judge which is best. There's a repetition of something, it's pasted in here. Well, it's a bit confusing, so check this out, please. Then, again, another data entry about Jacob Zuma and his comeback. This is information which was relayed by Al Jazeera. Again, there's a link here which is not good. It should be rather a screenshot, possibly, of this page. Very simply. Just go to the page, take a screenshot, and upload it as a file to EleQta by clicking on the upload file button. Okay. So if you need help with this, just give me a call or let me know. I will explain you more in detail. But it's all also pretty well explained here, etc. Everything else is fine in here. Jacob Zuma and his party are mentioned. The ANC is also mentioned, so it might be added to the list of dossiers involved here. It's not essential, it's not really something about the ANC. It only says that Jacob Zuma was a former member, so it's not really essential. Well, there's pretty much about the ANC here. So, and also, let me check again. If this page contains text, it should be entirely. You see, all this text should be entirely copied and pasted into the text box of the data entry, because this is all stuff that's going to be lost. It doesn't matter if there's things that are also copied along with it. Maybe make things a bit confusing. You just grab everything here till the end of the article, which is pretty long, and it is very interesting for the researcher to have the entire text of the article, not just the reference to the web page, to the link, which will expire. So you see, I grabbed all the text, I copied it, now I'm entering it here. There's an explanation which is very interesting. But we also want the entire text, so we just copy and paste it in the entire text here in the text box. There's a lot of CE information which doesn't really pertain to the article that came out of the page when I copied it. If you really want to do your job thoroughly, just suppress this extra text, which has nothing to do with the article, and make sure that there's something comprehensible written in here. See this one too. And also like this. Voilà. So now the text of the article is entirely present in the data entry, which is what we want. This is again useless information. I can suppress, and here we go. So I've done this to show you, but I'd like you all to please correct your data entries. You will recognize them, and each one of you should please go back to them and do the corrections that I just suggested you to do, please. So I won't do them on my side. Okay, again, so here we have another article. Also, by the way, I got confused. I pasted in the, doesn't matter. Anyway, you saw what I did. It should have been done in this data entry rather than the other one. Then you have another piece of information here that contains information coming from Twitter. I have downloaded this image. This is it. So somebody posted this image on Twitter. I would say that there's a little problem here with the source, because the source is not the economic freedom fighters. Yes, no, sorry, it is, because, alright, I see. EFF South Africa must be the Twitter profile that has entered this. Okay, very good. So no, it's fine. The only little remark I might have about this is that the researcher who has created this dossier might want to add that it is a Twitter profile. It might be beneficial in the name for two reasons: for the researchers that will use this information in the future, and also not to get confused when somebody will search among the dossiers and will find this EFF South Africa without knowing exactly what it is. If it's a Twitter profile, maybe there's a WhatsApp group with the same name, or I don't know. So, little thing to do here would be to go to the dossier list, rapidly find EFF South Africa, also by simply searching for it in the search field. So for the EFF, you see EFF. Okay, it's the EFF official Twitter page. That's very good. I will do this myself. I will simply add here in brackets Twitter page, so it is more clear. Because as you can see, when I go through the dossier list, it is not immediately clear what these things are. We know they are social networks, but it's still pretty vague. So I just added EFF South Africa Twitter page, so we know that it's a Twitter page, and we will see it here in this list. This information was correctly entered in the details field in the dossier, but not in the name, and it is better to be a bit more specific in the name. But anyway, this is a minor problem. Okay, then the first map is empty, the second map is also empty because we are not mentioning. Well, there is an EFF rally in Polokwane, Limpopo, so this also should have been put in the second map, because this information mentions an event, so it contains information about a location and a date. So if you search for Polokwane, it comes out pretty easily. So this should be added in the second map, right? The first map is the area where the information is spread, or where you saw the information. It's your observation. Second map is location contained in the information. And this information actually contains a location, the place where the rally uh, was held, and will be held rather, and also the date of the rally. So it's the 25th of May should be entered here. But I'm not going to change this data entry. I will ask the researcher to do it herself or himself, please. Then let's go to the next. This is about public outreach and visibility of the candidates, and it's an article on the newspaper Mail and Guardian, which was correctly quoted as a source. There is a picture in the article, so it's very nice to have uploaded it to the website. And also, the researcher here went through the trouble of copying at least most of the text. But from what I can see here, I can see that this rather probably comes from a website, so be careful. I think that the Mail and Guardian also has another separate dossier for the website. Let me just check. Mail and Guardian online website. So I think, from what I can see, this information is rather coming from the website. And in fact, it has been indicated here as the dossier is involved. I would have rather not put it here in the dossiers involved, but simply in the source field. This comes from the website. It doesn't have much to do with the newspaper, Mail and Guardian. But this is their website, so yes, it's connected. But the source is actually the website, so it should look like this. Okay. This article does not really mention, I think, any particular event, place, or date and time. So this is pretty fine, except for this source problem. So this is the same one. Okay, now this is information about the meeting. This is classified as a researcher's observation, so very nicely. The researcher has pointed out where she or he was at the time when she or he saw this event taking place. So date and time and place. This is research observation. I cannot really understand why there's a link though. Let me just see where this points to what this is pointing. There's a PDF. This is probably something that was presented. Virtual meeting. Okay. Let me just check. It's noted that although the countries perform not in this is the process only 16% of the vote is heard. The speaker should just alright. So this is a virtual meeting to which one of our researchers, I guess, took part. So let me see. So this plan was presented. So this is pretty fine. It's just that one only thing I could say about this is that it seems to me that this data entry is more about this document than about the meeting. So, well, first of all, we don't want links, so please upload the file to the platform, the PDF. And there's no point in writing this here. This should have been maybe written in the text box. Just saying it was a virtual meeting. And for the rest, everything is fine. I might have some doubts about the necessity of pointing out the location in Durban where this took place. But although there was a virtual participation, it seems to me that this meeting also took place. I seem to remember that there's a social center here, something where we've also been in Durban. I'm not sure this is it, but anyway, it should have been explained a bit more clearly why there is this location here if the meeting was virtual. This is probably where most of the assembly met, and then others were virtually present, including the researcher who performed the data entry. But maybe an extra sentence to explain this would be useful. Yeah. I also wanted to tell you something about gender participation, etc. I'm going to do it at the end of the video. Let's go to the next data entry. This is a press release about the leadership conflict in Jacob Zuma's party, which is very interesting, by the way. It comes from the Daily Maverick website. There's a screenshot. No, where is it? There's this media statement which was correctly taken a picture of and sent here. There's a link to the article. We can leave the links. I mean, they're not toxic. They're just not potentially not very useful. So let's leave them, but not in the file name box, but rather in the text box. Just at the end, just put the link, and then those who will want to try and follow it might be able to do it. But you also have a screenshot, so we also have the information, which is good. The link is also extra information, which we're not necessarily asking you to delete. It can be there, but it cannot replace a screenshot or something that transmits the actual information to the researcher through the platform rather than through a third-party platform like a website or something else. This is something that should have been here, but more likely, I would say, in the text box. This is also something about the... I don't know if this is part of this information or not. If it's not, you can put it of this press release or the circumstances of it, and just put it in the text box. It doesn't matter. It's relevant information, but we don't want it in this reference to associated file field, because this field has a different use. I've already explained. Mail and Guardian website, another piece of information which is interesting, but there's a link here. There's a long sentence here which I don't really understand. I mean, it shouldn't be here. Also because this field cuts sentences, so if you want to copy and paste the text of the article, please do it, but in the text field over here. This might be an attempt to copy and text the text of the entire article, but it fails because this field is only very limited in terms of how long the text I can type into it. So as you can see, it's cut. Whether the text field is almost infinite, you can put very long text in it. The first tab is empty because information comes from the internet. The dossier is involved, the field has been filled in what seems to be a big way. This guy, Malo, might be an actor in this whole action. I'll let you judge if it's necessary to see this person or not. For now, it hasn't been done, and I don't think there is one. Let me just check. No, it doesn't exist. So I don't know exactly who this person is. So I'll check it out and maybe come back to you about this next. Alright, this is another article from Eyewitness News, which has a dossier, very good, EWN. I would encourage you to not, it is good to put the acronym here, but not only the acronym. It is also good to put the full, I'm doing the corrections to the dossier. Okay, so EWN, should rather be news, then EWN also in the name. Very good, but please put both. Also put the full name in this field, because it will help your fellow researchers when they search for these dossiers among the existing dossiers. They might not use the acronym but the full name, or vice versa. So you better have both in the name. Okay, this has already been corrected by me. Okay, I think this is all for now. There's another post here. This has a problem also, because this is a social media post on X. South African flag being burned down, but this information comes from the internet, so the first map should be empty. So the researcher who has done this should go back to it and click on clear position and give me an empty map, the first map. The source of this might be Cyril Ramaphosa's X account. If this is the case, we could also leave Ramaphosa as a source for this information. But as you can see, we have a Cyril Ramaphosa X account dossier in the media, so it is more accurate to use this as a source. And then, correctly enough, say that Mr. Ramaphosa was involved in the information that comes in his account. There's a screenshot of this. I think I downloaded it already, but this is very good. You don't have to put the file name, anything in the file name, if you have already uploaded the file, okay? This is also pretty useless in here, and it is not a correct use of this field. Then the second map has been filled in, and this might also be, let me check. This might be the place where the flag has been burned. Let me just check. What the image looks like. It doesn't say here, but the information that is accessible to the researcher independently. But if this is the case, I would have added here location where the flag was burned, because a researcher will not understand why you put this location in the data entry unless you explain him or her why you did this. So maybe location where the flag was burned, if this is the case, or location where Ramaphosa was when he gave the interview that was at the origin of this X post, maybe. Anyway, this needs a little explanation. I wanted to tell you, I want to discuss thoroughly with you this matter. Knowledge told me about whether and how we should include a special observation about gender issues in our work. I'm very glad to do this. We'll discuss this together. So one way might actually be adding new topics to our platform, so that you can classify information that specifically relates to gender in these topics. We'll discuss this when we meet on Friday. So thanks a lot. I'm going to send you this video. Hope it's not too boring, and don't hesitate to let me know if you have any more doubts or questions about what I just said.